Okay, today we're going to learn the dinim of what's called the repetition of the Shmoneh Esrei, the Amidah, Chazar Seshatz. The reason for Chazar Seshatz, like we learned, why does the Chazan repeat the Amidah? Because there's people that don't know how to read, and therefore by listening to the Chazan, they would be yetzer the mitzvah of davening. Because there's a din, Shemea Ka'oineh. Listening to something is like answering it, like saying it. And therefore the Chazan would repeat the Shmoneh Esrei. Now, when the Chazan is repeating the Shmoneh Esrei, or the Amidah as you call it, everybody has to be quiet and listen carefully to every single word that the Chazan is saying in the repetition, and answer Amen properly. It says even to learn something while the Chazan is repeating the Amidah is forbidden. You have to, the truth is you're supposed to look in the Siddur and follow word by word the repetition of the Shmoneh Esrei. So definitely you can't talk other things during the repetition. If it's easy for somebody to stand, some people say you should stand during Chazar Seshatz. He says a lot of people have a minig, or some people have a minig, that they take off their Rabbeinu Tams in the middle of the repetition and then they put it back on. There's a lot of controversy about doing that. Some people justify it, but the problem is that number one, it says you're supposed to wear the tefillin through Volitziyah. Second, Rashi's tefillin. Secondly, while they're taking off tefillin and putting it, they can't hear the Chazar Seshatz and they can't answer, so they shouldn't do it.
Why would someone even come up with that? Like, what's the purpose behind that?
Of what?
Taking off your tefillin in the middle of a Shmoneh.
Because they put on the second pair. You think, they take off the first and put on the second then.
Okay.
No. That's called the guy who's in a rush. Yeah. Now, the Chazan, when he davens for the Amid, when he says Baruch Hu Baruch Shmei, we said Baruch Ato Hashem, has to wait for the people to be able to say Baruch Hu Baruch Shmei. He says Baruch Ato Hashem Hakel HaKadosh. He should wait for the people to answer Amen before he begins the next bracha. Because a lot of times the Chazan begins the next bracha, the people didn't even have a chance to answer Amen yet, and that doesn't work. It's no good. Now you also need 9 people to answer all the Amens during the repetition. If you don't have 9 people, Alter Rebbe used to do it's korev, it's close, that your brachas are brachas in vain. So you have to make sure when you have 10 people in a minyan, you have to make sure that everybody finished davening the Shmoneh Esrei, and then you can begin Chazar Seshatz, because otherwise you don't have 9 people that are able to answer. What?
What's this lashon korev?
In Kitzur, the expression Shetiyene brachas levatola. That's for sure brachas levatola. The Alter Rebbe says korev. I don't know, but the Alter Rebbe, if I'm not mistaken, it's from memory that Alter Rebbe uses the expression korev. It's close to be a brachas levatola. Therefore, if you have a small exact minyan, you have to make sure that everybody finished the Shmoneh Esrei and do it.
So maybe only by the avad is not brachas levatola.
No. It's not so simple. Okay, now when it comes to what?
Sometimes we're happy that we have a minyan because
I understand, but that doesn't justify starting the Chazar Seshatz.
I'm not saying it justifies anything. What I'm saying is, if you want to have a minyan and let's say you started, everybody started together, and then one guy takes a lot longer. So and everybody wants to leave. So we should be mevatel the minyan.
So the truth of the matter is, the Gemara says in Brachos that Rabbi Kiva, when he davened by himself, davened long, and when he davened with a minyan, he davened quickly, that people shouldn't have to wait for him. That's Rabbi Kiva. So it says in Halacha, but the bottom line is, if the guy wants to daven, you have to just wait. That's all, or make sure there's more than 10 people. Okay. Next, when it comes to Kedusha, everybody has to say, put their feet together and say Kedusha as if it's 1 foot. Because the Kedusha, we're basically talking about the angels. They say Kadesh and Baruch. It's all about what the angels say. And the Pasuk says, when it speaks about the angels, not physical obviously, Raglehem Regel Yeshara, which basically means their feet are 1 straight foot. So because the angels have 1 foot, whatever that means, because it's not physical obviously, so therefore we put our feet together as if it's 1 foot. And therefore by the Amidah we do that to have bittul and so on and so forth. when you say Kaddish, in Kiddush you say Kaddish, 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 you jump up a little bit with your heels. And when they say Baruch Kved Hashem, you go up, and Yimlech, you go up. Just a little bit with the heel, you go up a little bit. And that's it. Now, when the Chazan comes to Maidim, everybody bows and says, Maidim Anachnu Lach. I mean, if you're not in the middle of davening. If you're in the middle of Psukkah de Zimra, I mean, between Baruch Shama and Yishtabach, then you can answer the whole Maidim D'Rabbanon, as it's called. If you're in Berchas Krishma, between Yaitzir Or and Shmoneh Esrei, you just say, Maidim Anachnu Lach, that's it. If you're in the middle of Shmoneh Esrei, you don't answer anything. Okay, next. Before the Chazan says Sim Shalom, you say what's called Birchas Koyanim. Now in Eretz Yisrael, every day they actually do Birchas Koyanim. The Koyanim get up there and they do Birchas Koyanim. But in Chutz La'aretz, we only do it on Yom Tiv. But the Chazan still says Birchas Koyanim. Now, if you notice, we do it at Shachris, we do it at Musaf, we don't do it at Mincha. Ma'ariv for sure we don't do it because we don't repeat the Shmoneh Esrei. The only time we do Birchas Koyanim at Mincha is on a fast day. Why do we only do it on a fast day, not on a regular Mincha? Why don't we say Yivarach Hashem Yishmech, all that stuff? So the answer is because a Kohen who's drunk, meaning who drank a revius of wine, a Kohen who drank a revius 3 ounces of wine, is not allowed to do Birchas Koyanim. So because Mincha is davened in the afternoon, people ate already there in the Middle East. That was the main meal, was lunch, by the way. And they would drink wine, so a Kohen wouldn't be necessarily allowed to do Birchas Koyanim. So the Chazan doesn't do it. And on fast day, you don't eat. So because you don't eat, so you're not afraid you're going to drink wine, you won't be drunk, and therefore we do Birchas Koyanim on a fast day. The interesting sikha from the Rebbe, brings down, there's an opinion in Halacha that a Kohen nowadays is not allowed to drink wine. Why? Because any minute Mashiach will come and he'll have to go work in the Beis HaMikdash, and if he drank wine, he's going to be drunk, so to speak, even a revius of wine. So the Rebbe points out a very interesting thing. It says that after a Kohen drinks wine, after what's called Mahalech Mil, after 18 minutes, it wears off. So the Rebbe says, here you see an interesting thing. There's an opinion that says a Kohen can't drink wine nowadays because maybe Mashiach will come and have to work in the Beis HaMikdash. Which means, the Rebbe said, from the second Mashiach comes, until the Kohenim could already work in the Beis HaMikdash, is less than 18 minutes. Because otherwise he wouldn't, which is a very big issue by itself, because everybody's tummy, you need to put adum, and there's a lot of issues how it works. But the Rebbe said the fact that opinion in Halacha says, whatever the questions you have on the opinion, but the opinion says that a Kohen can't drink wine nowadays because he might be drunk, shows how quick Mashiach can come. Okay, now it's interesting. By Yivarach, what's that? Yivarach Hashem Yishmerecha. Some people say Ken Yerotzen or whatever. Now the Rebbe in Siddur says we say Amen. Yivarach Hashem Yishmerecha, Amen, not Ken Yerotzen. Yar Hashem Panei V'Lecha, Amen, not Ken, whatever. What? We're about to say something.
The halach meal is like 18 and 24 minutes.
No, so? Okay, and if it takes 24 minutes?
Yeah.
Now, Rebbe, by the way, paskins in Hilchos Pesach that a mill is 24 minutes. Except, La'alocha, the going of a mill is 20, which is 2,000 damits, which is 33,000 feet. It's interesting, the word mill is called in English, is called a Persian mile. I don't know why, but that's what it's called, a Persian mile. But it's a going of 3,000 feet approximately. Well, how long it takes to walk 3,000 feet, which is a little bit more than half a mile.
Mil is a Persian word?
It's more or less
No, mil is a Hebrew word in the Gemara, but the definition in English, the English translations, translates a Persian mil. Where they get that from, I don't know.
because mine is 18 and this is 1,000.
But the Alter Rebbe in Hilchos Pesach, by the way, paskins, the Alter Rebbe in Hilchos Pesach paskins la'alocha that the going of a mill is really 24 minutes. Except, Sometimes by things ben HaTorah you have to be machmer. Like for instance, by Chometz and Pesach, it says that how long does when dough and water mix? I mean flour and water mix. How long does it take to become Chometz until it's put into the oven? Mahalich mil. So over there the Alter Rebbe says you have to be machmer 18 minutes. You can't rely on 24 minutes. You have to be machmer. But in other things, the Alter Rebbe holds that a mil really is 24 minutes, not 18 minutes. Which could be very interesting about davening early in the morning, which for some people it's not a problem. 11:30, it's already after sunrise most days in LA. But how? Because the Gemara says from dawn, Amud Shachar, to sunrise is mahal. No, the Gemara doesn't say. It said the Gemara says mahalach dalid mil, the amount of time it takes to go a mil. Now, 4 mil, dalid mil. So most people say a mil is 18 minutes. So therefore, that's where you get the 72 minutes from. But if you hold a mil is 24 minutes, then 4 mil is 96 minutes. That means Amud HaShachar is much earlier. 96 minute Amud HaShachar is much earlier than the 72 minute. It's it's much earlier. So then you'd be able to daven earlier according to the Mishiyakir also the Gemara doesn't talk about. The Gemara doesn't talk about how much time Mishiyakir is. And in fact, in old Halacha it doesn't talk about it either. It's the later poskim that discuss times and they're not sure in different opinions. There's a Prima Godim that says that Mishiyakir is 6 minutes after Aleis HaShachar. After Aleis HaShachar. Now again, if you hold this 96 minutes, it's pretty early. And then because sunrise, I'll give you a simple example. Sunrise today is 7 o'clock. I think 6:59. So what's 7 o'clock? Yeah. So when's Aleis HaShachar? So if you counted 72 minutes, yeah. So it's an hour and 12 minutes before. So it's like 10 to 6.
5:38.
5:48. 5:40 is Aleis HaShachar. So then, now if you hold, when Mishiyakir, so most of the calendars say later for Mishiyakir. But if you go by that Prima Godim, then it's 48 plus 6 is what, 54. So you can 5 to 6 you can put on tefillin. But if you hold that a meal is 24 minutes, so then it's not 72 minutes, it's really 96 minutes before 7 o'clock. And if you count 6 minutes after that Aleis HaShachar, according to the Prima Godim, then you can put on tefillin much earlier. But the pearl, that's the story.
So it's already like
That's one of the reasons I didn't change the 6 o'clock minyan yet.
5:35.
I didn't change the 6 o'clock minyan yet. Okay, next. Okay.
Cannot daven at 6 o'clock.
What?
Can we daven at 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Before.
Based on what I just said, you can daven at probably 5:15 already.
Yeah, 5:15.
Okay, but we're not doing that yet.
The mikveh is closed.
Okay, next. Okay, now when the Chazan finishes the repetition, he says quietly the pasuk Yilaratin Imri Fevagin Liba V'Nachal Shem Suri V'Gayali. So that he says quietly, and then either he goes to Tachnun or to Kaddish. But it's interesting, but that pasuk is said at the end of the Amidah, right? So the Gemara says why. Also Gemara in Brachas. The Gemara in Brachas says why do you say Yilaratin? Because in Tilim, at the end of Kapitel Yutes, Yudches, the end of Yudches is, no, the end of Yutes, the end of Kapitel Yutes is Yilaratin Imri Fi Vagin Libu F'Nachal Shem Suri V'Gayali. So Gemara says, because David HaMelech said it after 19 chapters, so we say it after 19 brachas. So the Gemara in brachas says, but there's only that's 19 and there's only 18 in the original Shemona Esrei. And the Gemara answers the first two, Asher Ish and L'Amudak Shugoyim, are one kapitel. That's what the Gemara answers. So the brother David HaMelech said it after 18. The Gemara said David HaMelech said it after 18. So the Gemara asks, but it's kapitel 19? The Gemara answers because the first two kapitla
Say that
chadam.
loud, Rabbi? Do you say that?
No, quiet.